Hi, I haven't done a tarot reading for a while, and yesterday I really felt like I wanted to do one. So I drew some cards. It was the 16th of June yesterday in preparation for the solstice on the 21st. And here in the UK, where I am, it's summer solstice, elsewhere it's winter. But either way, this very particular time of the year always feels to me like it's leading to pre-solstice, leading to that sort of pause, that poised moment, waiting and ready for a shift in energy between like an in breath and an out breath, where there's that moment of stillness. And as we're leading up to it, I thought, hey, well, let's just see what the cards have to say. So what I'm going to do is show the picture of, there we go. These are the cards that came up yesterday. And I first of all chose the three cards on the top row. So you can see the Empress reversed, the Six of Swords, and the King of Swords reversed. And at first, when I only had those three cards and I connected to these ones before drawing any others, I thought, well, this is showing a shift in energy from one to the other, very straightforward. It turns out it's a bit more complicated than that. But anyway, let's look at that shift. So we've got the Empress, who is the, out of all the tarot cards, the one that most completely represents the divine feminine. So Mother Nature, creativity, birthing, producing, grounding. It's a beautiful, beautiful card. And reversed, I'm reading the reversed cards in this reading, as I often do, as an internal process rather than an external one. So a movement from this kind of connection to that beautiful divine feminine energy and the swords, the Six of Swords are moving, not necessarily in the most joyous way possible. It could be that there's a sense of, yeah, but I just feel I need to go and towards the King of Swords, even though there might be an element of regret in that Six of Swords card, they're always heading somewhere. Even if they're leaving under a cloud, those figures in the card, there's a direction they're going in. And the King of Swords, what came to me when I saw him in this context yesterday was bullshit detector. If you were going to a meeting with somebody that you weren't really sure, they didn't speak in the most direct way possible, and you wanted to bring somebody with you to cut through any crap, you take the King of Swords. He's the absolute master of that. Not only that, the swords, which represent air, represent communication, intellect, thought, thinking, but you can see it's quite a different energy to the Empress. The King of Swords is also quite a masculine energy. So I thought, okay, well, that's interesting. This represents what's going on around the solstice. And then I chose the cards beneath. And what I immediately got a sense of is that there's a lot of, even though a lot of the cards in themselves are quite still cards, if you look at that central column, there's a lot of movement. They're going, if you start from the top, they're going from left to right, and then the middle column, the Knight of Wands, going from right to left, and then the bottom column, you've got the Six of Wands going from left to right again. And as a whole, I'm reading the spread. The whole spread is moving like that. So top row, left to right, middle row, right to left, bottom row, left to right. And it's as though there's what I'm being shown here is a real sense of backward and forward movement. And the card right in the middle, the Knight of Wands, is a fast card. And I think there's a sense here of quite speedy movement. And we're talking about internal processes for the most part, though, of course, they might be connected to external actions as well. And it feels very much like a flitting back and forth between different states. And there is a potential for this feeling quite confusing. But let's see how this goes, because out of the confusion, there is some sense in this. So top line, we've already said, moving to this sense of gaining clarity. I said bullshit detector, and there's an aspect of that, but the aim is always not to detect bullshit, but to gain clarity, right? So maybe there's a sense of looking through all the information that I believe pretty much everybody is being bombarded with, whether you are choosing to look at one source of information or many, there's a lot of it. And if you look at more than one source of information, a lot of it is very contradictory, can be confusing. Some of it can really speak to the emotions and almost asks for an emotional response that is not very logical and rational. And this card says, let's just hang on a minute. What is makes sense? What actually makes sense, and what is distraction? What is just complete rubbish? And what do I not really know, but I'm interested in truly finding out what's going on here? And then that leads us to the card beneath, the Two of Wands, which is wands are fire energy, and this is moves from the intellect to more the sort of, well, what do I want to do with this? Where do I want to go with this? What is my heart telling me? What is my soul telling me? What does my gut tell me? Bottom line, what does my gut tell me? But yeah, he's not moving yet. He's preparing. So this guy is getting himself ready for a journey, looking out to where he's going, and wants to do it in the best way possible. So it makes sense, doesn't it? Get some information, trying to make sense of it, or not even trying, perhaps actually making sense of it, using that to plan a journey. And then we've got the Knight, and he's like, I'm off. This Knight is the character who might be like, I hear somebody crying for help, I'm there. And off he goes. Fire, passion. And that leads him into judgment, or towards judgment rather. And judgment is a really interesting card. It's the penultimate card in the major arcana before the world. So it's the last stage before you get to the world of the Fool's Journey. And this is where that's Archangel Gabriel, the messenger angel, but also the angel that's associated with illumination. Illumination as in illuminating everything that needs illuminating in order for us to be able to, well, notice it, examine it, do with it what we will. And the judgment card represents that, basically the judgment, am I going to get into heaven or am I going elsewhere? Which I don't really think is very relevant in general, but it is that weighty. It's rather than the King of Swords, who's looking at things from a very intellectual point of view or very mind-oriented point of view. This is, and in terms of information, the Judgment card is more about, when I look in the mirror, who am I? Do I like who I see? Are my actions aligned with my beliefs? Am I walking the walk? And it's quite a hefty card, but don't forget the speed of this. It's a hefty card. It's a checking in with that. Am I walking the walk? Am I really aligning myself with what I believe to be, excuse me, the best version of myself? And that might then lead, potentially, going to the card beneath, to the energy of the Eight of Cups, where you've got somebody who is leaving. And if you look at the way this figure's drawn, it's drawn in a very similar way to the standing figure in the Six of Swords in the top row. So it is a leaving something, possibly again with regret. It's not necessarily joyous, but it is considered. Both those cards, the Six and the Six of Swords and the Eight of Cups, are considered. This is a deliberate choice to move away. However, many regrets are maybe associated to it. And those cups are tidy. They've been stacked neatly. And they're not just left lying all over the place, kicked over or whatever. In order for this figure to move on to wherever they are going, might not be the easiest journey, but they have made that decision and they are going, which leads to the next card, the Six of Wands, which, yes, is a card of victory, maybe returning from having done something. You often, with a picture like that, you might think from battle or something like that. But something that is intrinsic to this card also is the public recognition. Now, this doesn't necessarily refer to, in this spread, public recognition of things done, but I do believe it means a recognition by our community, whoever that is. It could be family, could be friends, could be partners, could be the people that live where we live. But it could also be online communities. There are so many of those these days, like-minded people. And there's something about having the process that we've been through up until this point acknowledged and recognized internally, yes, but in some way or another also by other people. And that leads to the 10 of coins, which is an interesting one to have there because it is a completion card. It's a 10. Coins is the element of earth. And it is a celebration of family. It's not the sort of singing, dancing kind of celebration that you see in the Ten of Cups. This is more about an appreciation of the stability of family, but also community. It's within a sort of villagey type setting. You could look at it like that, and I feel very much that it's about being in a position grounded enough. This is also about physical support in all ways, food, shelter, as well as the people around us, in order to move on to the next cycle, because the tens can be very celebratory. Not every 10 is, but it's also about this is the end, and now we're ready to move on to the next stage. And maybe that next stage means going back to the beginning of this and starting at the Empress again, because I feel that there is this sense of backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, but also preparation for what is to come, because it does seem, it just feels very much as though we will all be asked to make decisions that relate very much to what we believe, who we are, that judgment card, am I walking the walk? And this process is preparation for it. Now, this was I'm trying to think of the right word, almost like a messy reading compared to other tarot spreads that I've done. So I'm going to share, I haven't done this before, but I did ask for some further information about this. And this is what came through. There's a word that I used right in the beginning, and I'm going to go back to it when I finished. Yes, the quickening is upon us, not just you on earth, but elsewhere. What is occurring on earth reverberates elsewhere. We feel it too. The trick is not to resist. The trick is to play the game, which is the game of ascension. Every one of you is being called to connect with a version of themselves that exists in higher frequencies. Resistance is uncomfortable. Become too weighed down by the process or too invested in any one part of it is also uncomfortable and a form of resistance too, in a way. Naming it as a game is a deliberate choice. Make your move, consider it done, and make your next move. Consider, notice, and evaluate, but keep going. Be the butterfly. This is a reference to time. A butterfly uses its relatively brief time in that form efficiently and wisely. It does not linger too long on any one thing, as it is always led to the next thing. This is not always so for you, for humanity, but now it can be helpful to connect to the idea of moving lightly, knowing that what you are doing is not a light or frivolous matter, but still allowing yourselves to alight upon each petal of the flower, each part of the whole lightly. Allow the process and keep moving. It will go easier this way. And the word that I referred to is the quickening. And I was familiar with that word somewhat, but I looked it up, and it means, we talk about it as when you first feel the baby inside you when you're pregnant, but it's about bringing to life, coming to life. So this feels like a quite a, not necessarily the most comfortable, but quite a joyous process in preparation for whatever. Now, the one more thing that I did was I went back to the 3-card spread that I use periodically, which I'm just going to stop sharing my screen, which was thought up by Brigit Esselmont, and that is what to do more of, what to do less of, and what to carry on doing. So I've chosen 3 more cards in the context of this process. So what would help make this process go as easy as possible? And the first card that I drew was the Queen of Cups, another very, I say another, I'm thinking of the Empress, another very feminine card. This cup is the most ornate. I mean, it's precious. It's water. It's the emotions. It's as though she's holding her heart. So what can we do more of? Connect to the heart. Connect to how we feel, open to the heart. When the mind is chattering, when the mind is flitting off all over the place, listen to the heart. The heart knows. What should we do less of? Internal dithering. I did laugh when I saw this because it connects so much to the main spread and that channeled message. So keep going. Stop dithering. If you find yourself in that position of I don't know, what am I going to do? I listen to the heart. And what should we carry on doing? This was the Page of Coins. And carry on doing is the pages have a very youthful energy and earth energy. So this is like being open to quite pragmatic earth, day to day in a way, just new information. The pages can often refer to learning, whether that's formal learning or informal learning, reversed. So an internal process. It doesn't mean sign up to a course immediately, but it just stays, just have that youthful curiosity. When we get to a certain age, there's always the potential for going, I'm not learning anymore because I've done it all. No, just stay open. So there we go. Interesting times ahead, aren't they always? Thanks for listening. Bye.